telling us maybe some of the common mistakes that people make in business management that you've seen?
Well, entrepreneurs are great creators. Very few of them are great managers. As a matter of fact, they're great leaders. Leadership and management are usually mutually self-exclusive. So an entrepreneur getting into this does everything themselves. They wear all the hats, they're micromanaging, and then they reach a critical point where they're going to have to turn things over to other people, and they just don't trust them. So you got to get to that point where you can give it up and trust people and empower them and grow them, because that's what will attract and retain bright, creative people to help you share your vision and mission. And every one of you, I don't care what you do, you will interact with other people that you will have to learn how to manage. Even if you are a one-off, if you play a banjo, you're going to interact with a whole bunch of people that you're going to have to coordinate their activities towards the end of your mission and your vision. So even in the most narrow focus, you need to know how to manage. So that's the challenge for an entrepreneur. Family businesses. Family businesses can be very off-putting to employees because they feel that there's nepotism in it, and there's no matter what they do, the family inside track is going to get the nod for advancement. So family businesses are very, very tricky, and the legacy pass-alongs are sometimes the awards are not given to the smartest people. Oh, one other thing too, you can walk into a business and you can observe and look, and you can tell whether it's properly managed and under control. You can tell probably in 5 minutes. Your business exists for one reason: to create a customer. Mm-hmm. Everything else on the backside of that is cost and things you do. So when you turn it around, you look at that customer, and if you got your eyes on that customer, and if you're everybody everybody who you deal with, if you are just one person, if you have an accountant, if you have a lawyer, if you have somebody who's your supplier of goods or products or services, they're a part of your team, and you're managing because it's your business. So, question, Charlotte.
Yeah.
You ask good questions.
I have more, but I want to let the group. Anybody have a burning question? All right, you keep thinking. Frank, you know what I hear people telling me is they're getting burned out. They don't have enough time to keep balance.
There is no such thing as balance. There isn't. There is no such thing in balance. When you're in it, in the trenches, it's 24/7, and you have one thing: never, ever, 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 ever give up. Otherwise, go work for somebody. Otherwise, get a franchise and get a job. But if you want your own business, if this is from your heart and soul, and this is your dream, your inspiration, you step up to the plate. So you never ever give up. And it's your baby. Nobody else is going to rock it. But that's where we're all here.
Frank, how about one of the things that I know can be a big issue in working with people is building and keeping trust. Do you see that as an issue in the clients that you work with? Trust, you know,
okay, trust.
Lack of trust undermines relationships and affects productivity.
Now, one of the exercises that I do for individuals and for companies, or it's called the 3-circle exercise. Anybody who's familiar with Jim Collins, it's your core values, what you stand for, what you will always do, and what you will never do. And then it's your capability, what you can be the best at in your little sandbox, what you are the best at. And the last one is your clarity of purpose. You know, why are you doing this? What's driving you? What's the reason? You put all those together, and that's your personal statement. That's your code of conduct, your behavior. That's your brand promise. So you earn trust. Trustworthy means that you are worthy of trust. So by having a code of behavior, by articulating that, and by embedding that in everything that you do, your values never change, ever.
It's really not a question. I wanted to emphasize on something that you said. And the thing that really drew me to business navigation is that it was faith-based. And when you said never, never give up, there's 2 scriptures that I really depend on a lot. And one of them is, call things that are not as though they were, and speak life. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, yeah, times are bad. Woe is me, things aren't good. But you're not going to build by feeling sorry for yourself. When you're in a crisis, and I'll use my own personal life. I lost a daughter in a car accident. You can relate that same thing to your business life. When something goes wrong and you're in a crisis, you have two choices. You can either sit and wallow in your self-pity, or you can get up and fight. And if we're going to be entrepreneurs, self-business people, own our own company, there's no place for self-wallowing. You're going to get up and fight.
And you know that last statement you made about people being able to express their thoughts and ideas, and I believe that's really important because it can help a company. I mean, that employee may be that person who can be really creative and really help the company. It's sort of like the example of 3M with Post-it. An employee founded that. It wasn't the company, it was one of their employees.
It's embedded in their culture too.
Yes.
People are given permission and they're trained, so they become specialists, and they know better than anybody else if they're given the freedom to explore and to work in a nurturing environment, and not to have people looking if something goes wrong to assess blame. Great to accept responsibility for success or failure, but blame is out. You don't fix the blame, you fix a problem.
Another thing too is hiring people that have the same vision, especially in the management department. That way, I mean, when it comes to trust, and I mean, if you ask somebody, well, what do you bring to my business? Because really it becomes not just my business, but yours as well.
There you go, good distinction.
And see, that's to me, you know, whether it be my dreams or my ideas, it's just, it takes more than just me to run the thing. And eventually I want to get to the point where don't have to be there all the time. I don't want to be worried about whether somebody else is mismanaging or whatever. As long as I know I can trust somebody, that's something I don't have to worry about. And again, like you say, I have time, then I can use any extra time to become a better business manager or to read, or to even cover the market even more, and maybe expand the horizons more. And again, just as you were saying, you know, if I talk to my people and say, well, what do you see about this? What can you tell me about this? Do you have any ideas? What's going on? Can you tell me how I can best improve this? To me, I think it makes all the difference in the world.
Frank, I know that addictions in the workplace are an issue for employees and also for entrepreneurs. Do you encounter that? And if so, how do you address that?
Specify what you mean by addiction.
You know, alcoholism, drug addictions.
Yeah, those are set pieces of any organization. You're gonna encounter those. So one thing you want to do is have the atmosphere of not judgment. Have the atmosphere that these are problems that everybody will encounter at some time in their life. They'll slip and fall, but it can be shared, and that's part of being a member of the family. It's not always, you know, when things are great, but somebody falls or miscues, and we are human. Boy, are we human.
How can we get your help? What if we want to take advantage of your counseling, Frank? What would we do?
I can do it two ways. I can do group training, orientation, probably be segments, maybe 4 segments of approach. And I haven't gotten this thing out. Actually, I'm writing the book, and the book says, all business problems are self-inflicted. Learn how to detect, repair, and avoid the business killers. Learn how to professionally manage your business from the inside out and survive and grow in both good and bad times.
It's a dust jacket.
That's a dust jacket.
Well, I'll tell you, Frank, you know, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
I think we can all appreciate what you've brought
And
to us today.
individually, I am available to come into and work with individuals or companies that have employees and come down and do an analysis and come up with a custom organizational structure and a custom management application, and then plug in the strategic planning and execution and growth patterns.